Well, $3 million is a wonderful amount of money, unless you owe it to the government. That's right. That's right. Teresa and Louis combined owe $3 million to the IRS. Teresa owes about $500,000. Louis owes the exorbitant sum of $2.6 million. That is rough. Oh my God.
If I were Teresa, I would be like, I would spend $1 a month and give the government all my money every minute of every day so that I don't go to jail again.
Me too. I'd be saying, can I have 7 tax people that just look at everything I do for the rest of my life? I have so many questions about this. Okay, so that news story headline, what I said is true. $3 million. A lot of it is Louis. What the hell is Louis spending a bunch of money on? $2.6 million? What the hell is he doing over there?
I mean, he's like the most clear-cut scammer of all time. I don't think there was a person on earth watching that show who didn't think that he was doing illicit things.
But what is it? What's the scam? What is his business? What is he doing? I mean, they're well off. They're well off together. I don't even know what the hell he does. But like, didn't they have enough money to just be okay, be content?
No.
Oh my God. Is it that? What's that devotional recording sessions that he used to do called Strong? What was it called? Strong Man?
Yeah, it was like Men for Jesus or something. But remember, he was like, he got those like pizza ovens that were probably like stolen off a truck, and then he like rebranded them, and then he's a scary person. I don't even want to know what he's doing.
I just feel, obviously, I feel so bad for Teresa.
I don't. Why? She's a fool.
I know.
Fool me once. Like, are you serious?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I feel bad. Just, yeah, you're right. I mean, this is such a mistake, a horrible, horrible mistake. They didn't separate their, they didn't have a prenuptial agreement.
Imagine going to jail because of decisions your husband made or that you didn't participate in or scrutinize enough, and then still not getting a prenup when you got married again.
I know. So because they're married now, this whole thing, like, they both owe it together. Like, is she in the hole for him as well, even though he owes way, way more? Is that how it works?
Good question. You're the one that's married.
I have no clue. Oh my, I was just thinking about if this happened to Turtle Time, you and I would be absolutely insolvent. Could you imagine if we owed
They'd be like, you're in the hole for $200. You're ruined.
We'd be like, oh my God.
We'd be Turtle like, Time is, to end the podcast.
Turtle Time is over, and we can never even mention the words turtle or time again in our lives. I just think, oh my God, this sucks so bad. I mean, it's
her
true.
Enemies must be just thrilled.
Who are her enemies again? Melissa?
Everyone on the show. Except for, I also saw that Jennifer was having money troubles.
Jennifer Aiden?
Yeah.
I looked that up too. I think I looked that up.
Is it fake?
I think it was. I think Bill and her are actually doing really well. The only time when I looked at Bill and Jennifer, it said Bill is a little upset about that Jersey Mike's thing.
Well, I didn't even... I waited to say anything about the Teresa thing because I had seen a couple of like weird headlines over the past like week or so, and then when it was finally on like a more legit source, then I believed it. But you never know with these things. But
totally. But this one's real. People Magazine reported it. I mean, they have access to whatever this internal IRS data is.
Did a FOIA request.
Oh my God. Yeah. I just, I mean, anything else to say about it except that it's, we all warned Teresa, you and I think, personally warned her. Yeah. We said, what the hell are you doing? Bethany was upset.
I was gonna say.
Yeah. Bethany was like, oh my God, I warned her more than anyone in the world. How could she have done this? This is so horrible. She also said the fool me once, fool me twice. So yeah, people are reeling from this.
Yeah, Bethany was like, she was the only person on earth that has a worse picker than me. She's like, she already went to the clink. She's like, at least I didn't go to the clink over my divorce, although he did.
And is that true? I don't remember that.
He got arrested for like stalking.
Oh,
like it wasn't like he served like time, but I think he went to like the drunk tank or something.
Oh my God, I barely know that Jason Hoppy that she's describing. I only saw him look slightly horrible when he was on Bethany Ever After. Well, any options? I wanted to end this positively because Teresa, this is so horrible. Oh my God, if I owed $3 million, oh my God, I don't know what I would do. But anything that they can do that you and I can say. I mean, we're not going to do a GoFundMe for them, obviously, but. What can they do to get $3 million quickly? Teresa and Louis.
Spin-off.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure they've been begging for that, but Bravo, I don't think wants that. I mean, they haven't withdrawn themselves from that option. I'm sure that they wanted that within 2 seconds. And Andy was like, I don't know, I don't want Louis on camera, nonstop.
Walk away.
Some book?
Yeah, she probably has. How many books does she have at this point? Like 5? Skinny Italian.
Did she do a memoir about life in jail like Martha Stewart? Martha Stewart didn't do one in jail, but she did a documentary about her life in jail a little bit.
I don't remember that.
I would say Teresa, the Jail Diaries, or
I saw that. She has a book called Turning Tables. She has so many books.
Yeah, but one that just is the most salacious she could ever do that instantly made you and I even have to read it. You'd get a $1 million advance on that. Maybe recoup.
This one looks like it's post jail. It's she's doing like a tree pose, like a yoga pose, and it says standing strong.
Okay, that's probably a memoir about jail life. So okay, can't do that. Louis is obviously not a moneymaker. Anything he touches, reverse Midas, turns to shit. So I wouldn't have him include in your plans. Teresa, you need to figure out. Remember when Teresa had that social media network called Giudice?
Truth Social?
It wasn't Truth Social. It was called Giudice. The Giudice Gazette or something, and you could sign up for $5,000 and get exclusive access to Teresa News. I think it lasted for about 7 days.
Wow. I saw that Joe Giudice is starting a YouTube channel where he talks about everything. He goes, it's going to take a lot of time to talk about this stuff, but what do we have but time?
Oh, because he's on the simmering back burner.
Island.
Oh, Bravo, you better get your ducks in a row.
Give him a show with what's her name? Cousin Rosie.
Oh, that'd be so good.
Even though she's MAGA.
Let her talk for a bit about what he can interview her once or twice and then say, "Get it the hell out of here, Rosie." Rosie would be like, "I'm so steaming mad." So we don't know the option of how they can get $3 million back. I mean, New Jersey could come back. Teresa instantly gets $2 million. They probably want to talk about this on the show. I believe Teresa's rate is probably in the $2 million range because she's been on that franchise for so long. She probably gets an amazing paycheck. So maybe just 2 more seasons of New Jersey would do it if she was allowed to be back. But obviously,
they didn't I keep getting confused because it's taking so long. They haven't said anything about that cast.
No, a full fake report came out that was spread by everyone, not Turtle Time, because we are the most reputable podcast in the world. But they were like, Margaret Josephs got fired. Melissa got fired. And then everyone said that this is completely fake. What the hell are you talking about? We're still thinking about what to do with this franchise. I don't remember thinking that New Jersey was even close to being as bad to scrap. If you're scrapping Jersey, you could make the argument that you could scrap anything. But
yeah. Speaking of scrap... just on the day of the Beverly Hills finale, Garcelle announced that she will be stepping out, which, seeming by the timeline of it does seem like it was her choice because I don't think they're asking people back already.
Yeah, I don't think so, unfortunately, just because of what I know about how Bravo gives them carte blanche to say whatever they want. For me, I think that they probably started talking or whispering, about contract renewals, and I don't imagine that Garcelle would say I would like to leave unless
Erica was saying on Watch What Happens, which, by the way, she seemed pissed. Her and Bose seemed pissed off about this, and apparently she walks out of the reunion and doesn't take the cast photo at the end.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And doesn't come back to participate.
Yeah. So Erica said that she's known basically since then.
Okay.
And she was like, I've known for weeks. And she goes, Andy, you've known. Like, we knew the second that happened. And Andy was like, I didn't know until the other day. And what did she say to him? She was like, she basically called bullshit on Andy. She was like, you knew.
Okay.
But she was like furious.
So it's like, you desecrated the reunion space and left. I mean, Mia did that too on Potomac.
Yeah. There's like, I was seeing reporting that like no one was commenting on her post. Like no one was like they had been commenting on other stuff, but like no one was saying like you had a good run or like love being with you. Like I think everyone was kind of shocked and pissed.
Okay. Well, we said last week, that if Bravo made the decision to not renew Garcelle's contract, we wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
So then when I saw that news, I was like, okay, well, this is actually perfect timing. After 5 years, we kind of thought that Garcelle was sputtering a little bit this season. So it made sense. And then I also know the Bravo way of doing things, which allows the cast to say, I left. Thank you so much. But I'm going to focus on, my children. So I thought Garcelle's
18-year-old son.
My 18-year-old son, I got to really think about him and his modeling career. But you saying the timing element and the walkout, that adds a little air of mystery. But but if I didn't know that or wasn't thinking too much about that, I would say Garcelle, they said, let's pick back up in a few seasons. I think we want to simmer off you for a bit. But that's not the case. I will be wrong as hell, which I always am, or very often am.
Do you think Sutton is like freaking the fuck out?
Yeah, I would be. I mean, that is her most staunchest ally. It looked like Garcelle was even wavering towards the end of it and didn't want to defend Sutton anymore. And now Sutton will just have Jennifer Tilly, and I don't know if she can even count on that. I don't know if Tilly becomes better friends with the other people. So Beverly Hills, we've been talking about it. Definitely will need a shakeup, and this is already the start of a shakeup in a way.
Yeah. Well. We'll see.
You think personal opinions now. I mean, you think it's probably a good decision, right? To give Garcelle a little bit of time.
I was over it. Someone on Watch What Happens. I was kind of spotty in watching it, so I just heard like rogue comments here and there. Mm-hmm. But someone called in and said something about that Garcelle had said that Erica doesn't share enough or something like that. And Erica was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I was like being sued. My husband went to jail, like all of this stuff. And she was like, and she said about Garcelle, she goes, talk about like doesn't give enough. She goes, you're going to have to do more than buy a beach house in Bakersfield.
Oh my God.
I literally screamed. I was like, that's some top tier shade, I have to say.
Holy shit. Is it not in Oxnard like I thought?
Well, it's just like not Malibu.
Damn. All right. Well, Erica's pissed at Garcelle and the rest of the cast seems to be pissed.
Yeah. Even Bose was like, Andy was like, what do you guys think about her not coming back or whatever? And they sat in silence for 10 seconds. And Andy was like, you don't have any thoughts? And they were like, and Bose was like, you go. And she was like, you say something. And then Bose was like, we're disappointed.
Whoa. Oh, man. You saying Garcelle walked out of the reunion reminded me that Sutton and Garcelle, when Sutton fainted, Garcelle just got to leave with her. And two of the cast members were just gone for part 3 of a reunion. I was like, what the hell is happening here? How the hell was that allowed?
Who said at the beginning of the reunion teaser, they were like, should I just pass out so that we can get the fuck out of here?
I think Kyle said that. Okay, good. That was definitely the news, right? Teresa... Garcelle.
Yes, I think of something else later. I'll just bring it up in the middle.
Me too. And the reason why you and I are champing at the bit, like a horse with a carrot running really fast, is because you and I want to talk about 2, I would say, wonderful episodes of shows this week. I gotta say, Summer House, quite possibly. I mean, I don't want to overrate it, but it had absolutely everything that I love about Summer House in one episode. Definitely the best case scenario for this iteration of Summer House. It was so impactful, monumental, so fun. And then I actually thought that Beverly Hills got a huge burst of life at the end, just having them kind of shambling through this trip. in St. Lucia, and I loved the chaotic feel of it. I loved the costumes. I liked that they actually were talking about something. It didn't feel so scripted, and they weren't rehashing stuff. I mean, they were a little bit, but I just felt like it was very fun. So let's talk about both of these episodes and get out of the news segment.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, Summer House. What the hell was this episode called?
Towing the line.
Why? Oh, right.
Jesse sucked on them toes.
Oh, right, sorry.
Which I love is going to turn into like a major problem later.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so this is a great episode. We start out Paige and Craig are in that raft, and they're talking about, it's the end of the conversation where Paige says, you know, I'm going to fire you probably at the end of this year if you're not doing well. Craig is finds that to be off-putting. He gets a little taken aback, and he goes, okay, that's okay, sounds good. And then that's when Kyle decides to drunkenly come over, and I go, oh my God, Kyle, you're gonna do this now? Craig didn't ask for this conversation yet. Like, it seemed like you guys were going to talk about when you would have this conversation, but Kyle wanted it right then. You know what I mean? I was kind of surprised that Kyle was ready to have that conversation with Craig right after his conversation with Paige.
Yes. Although Craig then is like, I'll be right back. And he appears to leave for like 30 minutes.
I know.
He's like checking his emails. He's eating chips. He's like looking in the mirror, taking a piss.
Yeah, he made Kyle wait a really long time. And I don't even think they did like Bravo editing to make it seem bad. It looked like a really long time. They go back to Kyle like 3 or 4 times, and he's going, oh my God, I can't believe I have to wait in this boat, for Craig this long. And it was a total power move on Craig's part.
What does Jesse say? He was like, he's totally a big dick in him or something.
He said, yeah, let's just pardon our French, but he said he's been big dicking him all over the place. He's making Kyle wait alone in a raft so that he can eat chips and go to the bathroom.
Yeah. Meanwhile, all this stuff is happening. Carl's date says she wants to go to magic school. She keeps cards in her bag, which I'm like, with every turn, she scares me more.
Yeah, I was worried. Nothing against magic. I love magic, and I practice it every once in a while. But her being, saying I really want to go to magic school, having a deck of cards that they weren't even unwrapped. And I gotta be honest. What are magic cards? Is that a deck of cards that has multiple versions of the different face cards, so you can say, is this your card?
She's like a grifter. She just like pulls card tricks like on the train and stuff.
You've done that, right? Where it's like I have an ace of spades and
close hand magic or whatever.
Yeah, when you say I choose an ace of spades and then the full deck is revealed to be your card.
I hate that shit only because it stresses me out because I'm worried about it not going right for them.
Oh, me too. Me too. I went to this one Italian place in Vegas, and I swear my friends and I were blown away. They did
Batista's hole in the wall.
Yeah, I think it was that.
Place.
Did they do close-up magic to you at your table?
I've never seen that, but
I did it, and the guy, it was awesome. He goes, pick a card, and I swear, he goes, this is like, I'm not exaggerating, it was something like this. He goes, pull apart your pasta on your plate. And I looked at the bottom of my spaghetti bolognese, and there was an ace of spades under my meal. And he goes, okay, let me get you a new meal because that has a card in it. It was...
Actually?
It wasn't that. I swear, though, the card was somewhere on our table.
That's tight.
It was awesome. So maybe I give a little credit, but
Actually, bring her back. But then she was like, can we do an open mic at Soft Bar? And I'm like, that is not the vibe you want at your business already. That's what you do when you have no business.
And Carl goes, absolutely. He goes, I want stand-up comedy or a talent show at the Soft Bar. And I wanted to say, I was screaming at the TV. I said, Carl, absolutely do not have an open mic night at Soft Bar at any time.
It's like that one that was in Gower Gulch. It's always at the most weird ass place where you're like, oh, I guess they're doing that now.
There's nothing worse than you going to a place and then you have to watch someone try out stand-up comedy for the first time in the corner, and then you have to participate in them not feeling bad about themselves.
Yeah, no, Carl, please, no. And then a reoccurring theme of this episode also is that we see like Jesse telling girls at the party that he's in a relationship. He's grappling with not participating in flirtation or hookups for the first time.
Yeah, and he said it's a new world at some point. He goes, I look at, he says this at some point, but he says, like, I am looking at hot girls around me, but there's like this wall in which I cannot go further than what I truly want to do. So he's having a really rough time with that.
Yes, and then the other through line of the episode is that, like, at one point, West, he sort of, like, looks at Sierra in her pelican costume or whatever it is, and he's like, I'm scared of you, and she's like, yeah, I know you are, and where Jesse is like, I'm gonna talk to her for you later, and West is reminiscing about how they were Pippin, Jordan, and Rodman last summer, and it's sad that that group is disbanded, and then later we'll talk about that.
Totally. Yeah, so now, Kyle is in this dinghy, right? I mean, that's where we're at. Kyle's in this dinghy. He feels awkward. And then that's when Craig comes over, right? And finally starts to talk about Kyle comes over.
Yeah.
And
Kyle is like, he is coherent and makes sense, but the second he's drunk, you can hear it in his voice. Like, he gets slurry very quickly.
Yeah, he was too drunk to have this conversation, and I kept saying, I've said a couple times on Turtle Time, I was like, Kyle is going to hand Craig his ass in this conversation, and Craig won with, like, in every way in this conversation with Kyle. Kyle didn't. I really. Kyle was either too drunk to have the conversation, or he just immediately feels bad about what he did, because I felt like it was basically Kyle forced to apologize to Craig, from at this on this boat completely.
Yeah. I have to say, though, I view Craig as such a loser that I still didn't think he looked very good. And I don't think he actually accomplished, like, I don't think that Kyle had to, like, eat shit here, but I think he just wanted to, like, get it over with and hug it out so that they could move forward.
Yeah, but Kyle immediately started the conversation. He said, my goal is just to put this to bed and focus on us and get back to double dates. And I was like, that's the start of the conversation? I expected completely that he would say, here is the texts, or the here's what led up to me calling you a liar on Watch What Happens Live. But immediately he lost that edge by just saying, ultimately, all I want to do is become friends with you. And then that gives Craig the opportunity to say, well, you're the one who made this a thing. You're the one who brought this all to light. You're the one who called me a liar on Watch What Happens Live. So the fact that Kyle just immediately wants to end this doesn't make any sense to Craig, because Craig's like, well, this all came from you. No one would have ever known about any of this had you not said all this shit. You know what I mean?
They also give us a little flashback because Craig talked to West and Jesse like an hour before this, and he was like, when you fuck with me, like, I'll fuck with you back. He's like, I pulled Loverboy from all of my stores and I'll never sell it again. And they're all like, what?
Yeah, they were stunned that
But I was
Craig...
like, where do you sell it? Like, at the pillow store?
I think that, it's Sewing Down South. There's like a little, a fridge, or like a refrigerator right next to some of the gifts where
they really must have felt that loss of his little, like, cooler at his pillow store. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, so that was Craig saying, like, what you did just hurt your business. If you never would have said anything, we'd still be slinging lover boys at Sewing Down South.
Oh, Craig pulled the keeping food out of babes' mouths. He was like, because Kyle is like, I've known you for years. If I were in your position, I wouldn't pull something like that with a friend or whatever. And he goes, you're keeping money out of people's pockets by taking those deals away as an option. And he's like, I never told you not to do it. I told you, we've heard this a billion times. He's like, I told you I needed a minute to come up with like an offer on my end. And he's like, you should have just told me the deal is already done, because it was, So like, I almost feel like Kyle knows what happened, and he's like, he knows that if they get into the like tit for tat litigation of it, it's not going to go well. Craig will storm off. He'll get all pissed. And I think he's just like, let's just get this over with so that Paige and Amanda can be happy because, and in the end, I think Kyle is vindicated and Paige was like, yeah, fuck Craig in this scenario.
He is ultimately vindicated in calling him a liar, and Paige is not Craig's greatest fan, so she gives Kyle the win on that one. But as I was watching this argument, I was trying to think about it again in a new light, and I was just like, what did Craig owe Kyle in this negotiation by just telling him, I'm going to take a great deal? Sprit Society is offering me like the most money I've ever had in my life to do this thing. And I have to see the text where quite possibly Kyle said, I will get you a better deal. Just hold off. And maybe Craig was like, I don't know what's going on. I'm already going to take this deal. Like, I don't know the nuance of it, but I was just kind of like, why did Kyle need that right from Craig to offer the first refusal or whatever? So I just, watching it now, I was just like, I don't really know. I think ultimately Kyle just made a bigger deal of this whole thing than it really needed to be. And I was sort of siding with Craig where he was just like, you called me a liar. Like, you really lashed out at me and made this so much of a bigger deal because you were hurt that I didn't do a deal with Loverboy when I got offered a Sprit Society deal first, And so I think that's what Kyle is admitting to, that he just took this all so personally.
Yeah. I mean, when you keep talking about it forever, it's like not that juicy of a story. It's just the reactions and like the dynamic, but like the actual thing that happened, if you had to explain it to someone who doesn't know what Loverboy is or whatever, they'd be like, okay.
Yeah, no, really. Yeah. And we were really thinking about this. This is like, it seems like it's the end of it. Kyle says, he just says, I want us to get back to the place again where we can be friends, and I think that's the end of it, basically, right? They hug. Craig says, Kyle says, I felt bad because you were waffling about even possibly coming to the Hamptons because of what I said. And then Craig says, I felt awkward. I don't have very many friends, he said, and you're one of them. So
I know. I wonder what Craig's social life is going to be like now that he has all this free time from going back and forth.
Right.
Also, while there was a moment where Jesse does talk to Sierra about West, and he's like, she's still giving like negative energy, like I don't know what he should do at this point. And she said again that West used her the entire summer last year. And she was like, that thing where you are on the fence about someone and they convince you to like them, and then like she felt extra offended because she felt like bamboozled into liking him in the first place, which I was like, I don't know if that's true. I think you just actually liked him. But and then Jesse, it turns into this conversation where, he's like, what would have happened if because I forgot last year he came like a day late or a weekend late.
I think so, yeah.
I think a weekend, like he skipped the whole first weekend, and he's like, what would have happened if I would have come on time? And she's like, who knows, like anything could have happened. And he's like, because by the time I arrived, West had already called dibs, and they show a clip of like them driving. He's like, are you vibing with anyone? And West is like, yeah, I definitely have like something like brewing with Sierra. And then they show a clip of last year, her saying like blind taste tests, if you could have one or the other, she said, I'm going Solomon. So like, we know for a fact she's attracted to him. And I was like, at first I was like, are they really like playing into this for like story? Like the show was really focused on their dynamic in this episode. And I think Sierra was also drunk. They were both really drunk in this episode. So I think they were just like defaulting to like flirting with each other because they were feeling super loose. But like everyone was very obsessed with commenting on and watching them together, and it was like, it felt like old times again, I gotta say.
No, totally. Yeah, no, I feel the same way. I think that there is undeniable chemistry that even Paige is commenting on, Amanda is commenting on it, Craig gets a little whiff of it during his brief time there. I think it's real. I think that things could have gone a completely different way if Jesse had been there that first weekend and he had, I don't know, tried talking to Sierra first before West. So I thought it was sweet. I love that Sierra, said, you can't let someone just call dibs if it means finding your wife. And
Right.
Yeah, that was very sweet.
Yeah. She also, Sierra, at one point, when Carl tells her that he's going on a date with Lil, the magician, she starts like jumping for joy. And he's like, oh my God, you're so excited for me. And she goes, I can tell you I wasn't jumping around about your wedding. And that's later. Lindsay talks to her Aunt Rhonda, who is like, I was thrilled when you guys broke up. And I'm like, okay, like at any point will Lindsay be like, I know it was for the best?
Yeah, she kind of, a little bit she alluded to that. She was like, when I look at myself back then, I cannot believe, what I was thinking. So maybe that's as close as we're ever going to get about that. But I don't think we'll get a full expression of that from her.
Yes. Okay, and then there's Craig is like, it almost feels like Craig is there without Paige. Like he's always just like on his own and he's doing this whole love triangle conversation for a long while. He talks to Jesse at one point because Jesse's like, how do you go to these parties with all these hot chicks and not like take a look and like be into it? Which I'm like, seriously? Like, like I just cannot relate to that. It's like, how do you like survive going to these parties where there's all these hot chicks and not like act like inappropriate?
Yeah.
And Craig also, his answer was fucking weird. He was like, you gotta be with a girl who you would cheat on your girl with. He's like, cause then, like they're always your number one. And I was like, couldn't you just be like, because you like respect your partner and like like he's like, you gotta be with a girl so hot that she's the one you would cheat with.
Yeah, he had to put it in like a cheating scenario to make it seem rational and reasonable that you wouldn't be, cheating on your significant other with anybody else. That's, maybe that's just how he's putting it to Jesse, and Jesse's like, oh my God.
He's trying to decode for
He's
him.
like mind blown. He's like, oh my God, I got to be with someone that I would cheat on someone with. Yeah, he does say that. And then what's next after that?
Well, it's like they keep talking about it. Jesse tells Amanda about like, what would have happened if I showed up on time. And he's like, we've always had a friend vibe because she dated my friend. And like they are pressing him further, like, well, like, would you date her or whatever? And he's like, oh my God, stop. Like, he's like, he's like, I am a heterosexual man. Have you looked at Sierra? She's like drop dead gorgeous. Of course I would date her. And then right when he says that, West comes up behind him and they like, I don't know, like do a handstand or something.
West pulls him away right as he admitted or revealed that he would date Sierra. Do you think Jesse likes Sierra or Paige more?
It seems like he's way more chummy with Sierra, but Sierra's available for that. So,
right.
I don't know.
Right.
Originally he was all about Paige last year, but, but yeah, Craig can't believe it. Like, he's like, holy shit, there's something there. Kyle is like, whoa. Like when they update him, like they're all like, there's definitely a vibe there. I also like there's a quick moment when West and Jesse take a piss together in the backyard. And Jesse, this whole episode, has been drinking rosé out of a bottle, which is a Summer House classic. And West is like, are you going to polish off 2 bottles of Hampty Wah? And I'm like, we got to get some Hampty Wah.
Totally. They are both so drunk. I mean, like, yeah. I mean, I almost think, I think everybody was partying their asses off at this thing. I couldn't believe that the pirate party ended up being almost the entire episode. I was so happy that it sustained the energy for the entire thing. This Carl picked shipwrecked theme. Like, they were really going all out. The next day, when they're so hungover, I was just like, wow, this feels real. Like, that they wanted to just let loose.
Yeah, it was literally had all the hallmarks of the old days,
Totally.
but like in a fresh way.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Lindsay's at home. She's saging because Carl is Satan and the apartment is cursed. And they show her however long ago taking down the Rad House sign. She calls her Aunt Rhonda, who used to be in the mix all the time. She used to call her constantly. And she's like, I got rid of the bad vibes breakup couch. Gonna figure out the nursery. She's like, yeah, this time last year I was so stressed. She's like, it's crazy that I thought that our dynamic was normal and that was just going to be my life. And I'm like, yes, like it needed to end.
Right.
One of you needed to break up.
Yeah.
And she said that she still has a hard time looking Carl in the eye. And but she says she has no FOMO about missing the party, and she claims that she was the person who came up with the shipwreck theme. She goes, Carl is the least creative person you'll ever meet in your life. He always stole my ideas our entire relationship, so it's not surprising that he would steal my idea for the most original concept you've ever heard, which is a pirate party.
Yeah, I could not believe that she was taken for credit that. So she at some point told Carl directly that I think one of the themes should be a pirate theme. And then once they were broken up, Carl said, I have the perfect idea. I want to steal this Lindsay thing. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I thought that was a little, mean to call Carl the most uncreative guy she's ever met in her life. But
I think we're about to get a fork in the road. Everything up until this point, she's been really chill and pretty nice to him. And it's been copacetic, and the house has had good energy in their regard. And then as of the preview for what's to come, she screams at him about potentially having been texting or DMing Lil for a year. It sounds like they're going to be getting into it. And I feel like that confessional where she said he stole her ideas is from a timeline where she hates him again.
Yeah, I think you're right. Back to Jesse and West. Once West pulled Jesse away, and after they drank 2 bottles of Hampton water, Jesse relays the West conversation. He says that it doesn't look... the conversation he had with Sierra about West. He says it's not looking good. She said he wanted to defend West's honor, but she keeps going back to the fact that West used her. And when he asked, could we ever be friends? Can we be the Rodman, Pippen, Jordan trio that everybody loved? She took a hard line against it. And West is... I think West is very drunk, but he also starts to get the most upset I've ever seen him in 2 seasons so far. He does not like what he did to Sierra being described as using her, but he also isn't pushing back on the details that would make it not be considered using. He just says that I have been, extremely civil. I don't know how she keeps going back to that word. And he goes, she also did that to Austin, claimed that he used her, and he did much worse than me. I mean, he publicly backstabbed her, and we're getting the exact same projection of or perception of things that happened.
I want to know what update he got. Who did the whiteboard timeline recap for him about the Austin relationship? Was he and then he was on Winter House and he said this, and then he came to the Summer House and he picked up Lindsay, and then it turned out that in the past she jacked him off at Amanda and Kyle's wedding while they ate McDonald's, but they deny that.
Was that the public backstabbing, that they got McDonald's and Lindsay jerked him off in the room?
I don't know. I mean, or was it that they had their romance and he treated her like shit, and then the Amanda stuff where they were super flirty at the Summer House and they were just denying her feelings and being like, that's the relationship we have, and he just kissed her in front of Sierra. Maybe it was that.
I think so, yeah. So West doesn't really like to be lumped in with Austin, because he feels like it was a completely different situation.
Yeah, he's like, our relationship was cute and fun. I don't get it. He's like, and then Jesse was like, I hope you don't feel weird about me and her being friends. And he's like, I'm not 12. That's fine. And he's like, how would you feel about her dating someone else? And he's like, I'd be relieved and happy. I want her to move on. I think that would make him feel absolved because she's like in a new phase,
Yeah. So yeah, and then this next scene coming up was wild to me. So we've had two amazing moments already so far this Summer House episode. We got the Craig and Kyle showdown finally. Then we get Jesse and Sierra's love bubbling, or whatever it is that they wish that they could have possibly, done things differently last season. And then now we get Paige went up to bed to change her shoes, and Sierra went to go find her. And she goes, "I love that I found you where I exactly expected that you would be, in bed." And then it seems like when Paige talks about Craig to Amanda is more like the 50-50 on Craig. Like, she offers advice, but she's not fully negative about him. It's more like Amanda is a good soundboard for you still love Craig, but he did something
she's like,
wrong.
I have a difficult boyfriend, husband too, so
yes.
I understand how you have to toe the line. And Sierra's like, fuck that guy.
Oh, and then it's like Sierra has absolutely no warmth in her heart for Craig at all. So now Paige says the exact same conversation. To me, it's so shocking that Australian dinner, which I thought was not that I don't know, there was no deep revelations there, but Paige keeps talking about the fact that Craig said that he wants to be prioritized, their relationship prioritized, when she's going on a 3-month tour. She is so stressed out about this tour.
Yeah.
That the last thing she wants to deal with is having to think about Craig's feelings. And so she relays that to Sierra.
I mean, it seems like that dinner was just the on-camera version
Yes.
of something that comes up a lot. Apparently he said, I come to you 90% of the time, and now you're going to be on tour, so what are we going to do? And she's like, yeah, he's stressing me out about this, making me feel bad. And Sierra goes, Paige, I am not going to tell you again. She's basically dump his ass is the context, or the subtext. And she reveals, which I thought this was kind of shocking, frankly. She said that Craig said off camera that he was like, I'm not going to say on camera that your shit is bigger than mine, business wise. And he's like, that would be negative, for me.
Would you believe me if I said I was shocked as well? I could not believe it. Craig did not want to say the reality, which is that Paige is firing a rocket ship to the moon with Giggly Squad and Amazon Live and everything else she's doing, plus being a reality television star, and that he doesn't want to admit that Sewing Down South and the Spritz Society and the Panera New Era campaign is not holding a candle to the torch that Paige is lighting with her career. I thought that was because, in my mind, as a viewer, I could start to equate the two. We don't know the real reality of Craig's day-to-day grind, the 9 to 5. He talks about being hustle mindset, rise and grind, 8 to 8. And then to hear him say that, for her to actually reveal what he said off camera was also shocking. I was like, that's major shots fired.
The
you
loyalty is off.
You guys are not doing good if you just revealed what Craig would not want to be revealed. This to me was the start of we are entering the point of no return.
She's starting to poison the public against him to prepare them for her to dump him.
Yes, and it happens now. It was happening in the summer. She was setting the stage for it in a way, which I still feel it's very organic. It's happening naturally, and it all makes sense. I mean, people have to understand that this is a real dynamic between them, and it makes Craig look very bad that he can't admit that he is just not nearly as successful as Paige at this point in his career.
This is reality TV gold. She deserves her medal for the year for being I'll share.
Absolutely. And I was thinking of this bed bugs, anti-bed bug sentiment where it's I'm gonna sleep in a bed all day and get paid a big check. It's Paige did more in that bed than Kyle and Craig did dressed up as pirates in a raft by just revealing what Craig did off camera to Sierra in this conversation. That's what a bed does.
It's the secret layer of sensitive information.
Totally.
She goes, when she says that he said that, she goes, am I dating a secret hater? And Sierra's like, that is hater behavior. And Sierra's like, somehow it always ends up being the Craig show. Which it's interesting because, I never put my sword down about Craig. I always was like, he's shown his true colors enough times that I was like, I will never trust him completely and give in to the like rebrand. I did generally think, like, when we saw him at BravoCon, I was like, he looks amazing. Like, he looks great. He looks healthy.
He was so nice to us.
He's nice. Like, he's professional. Like, he's definitely doing better than he was. And I think they did have, like, generally a successful relationship. But I do think that she primed the public to make him look 10 times better than what was actually going on. And you kind of just had to take her word for it generally, because they seemed like they were doing pretty well. So I was always like, if you guys want to live in separate cities, that's cool with me. I don't give a shit what you do. Like, it seems like you like each other. It seems like you have a pretty good relationship. But it turns out, which the wedding, getting kicked out of the wedding, the winter house bullshit, there was always like some stink lurking underneath that everyone was happy to throw under the rug, because she stayed. She said it was cool. They seemed successful.
Yeah.
And now she's saying, actually, I had to spend so much energy cleansing his crimes.
Yeah,
and
totally.
the way that he made me feel, which I don't even think that, like, I think the problem is that something like saying, I'm not going to say your business is doing better than mine on camera is so, like, insidious. Like, I don't think that his actions in general are, like, particularly evil, but it shows his point of view is, like, rotten. And I'm like, you were literally about to make her your wife. Like, you bought a ring, or you designed a ring. You guys were on the verge of getting married, and you don't think that her being more successful than you is, like, a win for you both. Like,
right.
That's so fucked. Like, that just sucks. So I'm glad she fucking dumped him.
Yeah, I think that revelation makes me think the same way. I mean, this might have been, for me, the best evidence that this relationship had to end, you know, so far. I mean, there is no more damning accusation, I mean, besides being a cheater or whatever, than being called a hater, you know, of your girlfriend and her success. And for Craig's ultimate goal to be to tamp down her success, potentially, for her to be a wife to him, so that he can pretend that, like, he's opening up a bunch of Sewing Down South stores. It makes complete sense now to me that Paige, that's not the future that she wants at all. It
does, like, paint the picture, because I was giving him benefit of the doubt for a long time that, like, their timelines just don't align, and you know, it's not a crime for him to want to settle down. Like, that's something that they had originally agreed upon. Like, that's not negative, it's just, like, different. But I actually fully believe her now that he did want her to dim her light and hang up her work hat and, like, go fulfill his dream at the sacrifice of hers.
I really cannot identify with that that emotion, or that psychological
like, you guys
need.
are a power couple. Like, that's awesome.
I would be like, I don't know. I mean, you know, I guess he has a little bit of, you know, well, he has a lot of success in his own right, but I guess he feels insecure to the point where he has to be on an even footing with the person he's dating, which you're right. It reveals something, you know, rotten is a strong word, but it reveals that there is just some, like, deep issue there that Paige should just have nothing to do with. You know, it is the complete antithesis of what she wants to do in her life. And Sierra says that pretty succinctly. She goes, that is a hater-ass boyfriend. Paige should not have to pay for his lack of self-confidence or lack of self-esteem.
Dare I use the M word, the maybe a dash of misogyny, of just, like, not wanting your girlfriend to do better than you. And I would love to hear what he has to say about that entire conversation, because he's always kind of gotten to give the nice guy point of view, that he's like, she's taught me so much, like, I'm thrilled about her career, I don't want her to give up anything, but I want to be like, but actually, like, is there something within you that...
He's such an unreliable narrator, though, that even if we heard this section of his response to this, I, like, really don't know. His language and everything is so ambiguous, and you don't know if he's, like, fully telling the truth. Like, when his conversation on Southern Charm, which we talked about 2 days ago, he sent those 6 he said those 6 anecdotes, and I learned absolutely nothing from them. And then when Paige has this one line, I learned 100 times more about their dynamic from Paige than I did when Craig got an entire scene dedicated to explaining what went wrong.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Craig will ever even know what he truly did that ended this relationship, you know?
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, you guys, that we haven't gotten to watch the after show yet, because I'm sure there's going to be some juicy morsels from Paige, expanding on this, but we'll touch on that next time. But I wish that they could just get Craig in the after show for a minute.
I know, I wish so too. And then at this point, they're having this conversation, one of the worst conversations you could ever have about someone that's actually your boyfriend. And then Craig is kind of looming in the background. You know, he's going, where's my girlfriend? Where's my girlfriend? And then he pops in and he goes, oh my God. He goes, I hope you're not talking about me. And they're like, well, we were kind of, but they're never going to say what they actually were saying about Craig. In that moment.
You're like, Sierra fucking hates you.
Yeah. We got a little clarity. So we go back to the party, and we did get a little, I didn't understand when they were talking about that they found Lil. Remember, they found her wrapped up in a tarp in the corner. They were like, we didn't know where she was, and she had enshrined herself in some of the tarp. They were actually talking about her doing the worm early. Yeah. So I was like, whoa, you guys said a major spoiler on the after show, because Lil and Carl actually were doing dance moves on that tarp. Lil did the worm, and Carl did a full backflip and landed almost on his neck.
Scary. Also, for some reason, she's getting picked up by her parents from the party, and Carl meets the parents, which I was like, why is everyone meeting everyone's parents?
I think I thought about that because I was like, what the hell is going on? I think Lil's parents must live in the Hamptons, and Carl was on a trip or went to that game in the Hamptons. That's when he met the parents. They go, we have a daughter in Manhattan.
Do we have a daughter for you?
We've got a daughter that I think would love you. Are you in a relationship right now? And Carl said, yes, I am. So hold off on that. But yeah, no, she's getting picked up by her parents, and Carl walks her out. This is a goodbye to Lil. Is it forever? We don't know.
I hope so.
Really? Did she make that bad of a impression? Magic, the worm, calling him a lemur? He can
do what he wants. I just don't need her on this show.
I think so too. I think I really feel like once somebody said that she was the Joe of Summer House, it really hurt, really deeply affected me, because I was like, I don't want to think that, but she didn't go full Joe or whatever, but I was just a little worried about all that open mic night and magic tricks and doing the worm and calling him a lemur. It was a lot. Kind of a bad first impression, which, some people can escape from.
Yeah. Oh, I had a stray thought that I lost when we were talking about Craig. I just wanted to say that it's interesting to me that he seemingly loves a strong woman, because Naomi was very strong-willed and business-minded as well, but then he resents their boldness ultimately. So I'm very curious if this next round, if he'll do it again, or if he'll choose someone that's boring and passive.
Yeah, but
little Pookie monster alert vibes.
Total. He could go the Pookie monster route, or will he go the Naomi route? I gotta say though, Naomi, talk about hater significant others. I mean, Naomi was definitely, there's a difference between I feel like what Paige does to Craig, the teasing and poking fun, versus Naomi was just his number one hater in a way.
She absolutely thought he was a clown, but he was, but becomes toxic when you're you're a fucking loser.
and you know what? And maybe I'm looking back retrospectively and saying I remember that of Naomi, but who the hell knows what was going on behind the scenes?
He was stabbing walls and shit.
He had aluminum foil taped up all over his room, and there was pillowcases hanging from the rafters, and she's like, what the fuck is going on?
He's like, I'm taking the bar, I took the bar, and then he's like, I didn't take the bar. Who Craig dates next? Will it be Sally from Southern Charm? We don't know, but it'll be a marker of which route he's going to take in the future. Yes. Okay, then we get more talk about Sierra and Jesse. They're freak dancing on the dance floor. His crotch is in her butt. She's like, oh my God, they're dancing. Amanda, Paige, and Craig are talking about the sexual tension. They're like, you can cut it with a knife. They're like, I wonder if West feels a certain type of way about what he's seeing here. And then they're all sitting on the couch, and Paige is like, Sierra's feet are on Jesse's legs, and she's like, put her feet in your mouth, and she's like, please don't, and he's like, yeah, she would have to ask, which is a little bit of foreshadowing of what's to come later. Amanda goes and finds West, and they have a heart-to-heart where he seems like he's about to cry, frankly.
Yeah, he is. We talk about when you get really drunk, almost anything can make you cry, if you think about it a lot. So I do believe he was on the border of being, drunk and crying, but it's the most upset I've ever seen him. He's so frustrated. He says, I've been so polite and so respectful, and then she goes around and she's telling my friends that I used her. He's really upset that she's telling Jesse now, using that term use, and he just doesn't think that he could have. I mean, he says he didn't handle everything perfectly, but he just doesn't understand like why this is still happening, and that she's kind of painting him as the villain still at this point. Yeah,
he's frustrated. We get Jesse FaceTiming Lexi. He's so romantic. He tells her that he jerked off before the party so that he wouldn't do anything bad, or that he wouldn't miss her at the party. And he said that he misses her still.
He said it didn't work.
Yeah.
He goes, despite me jerking off right before, I missed you the entire time.
Right. Craig and Paige are in bed, and she's on her phone scrolling, and he's trying to talk to her, and she goes, why don't you scroll on your phone so that I can fucking relax?
Yeah, I thought it was fun. She goes, where's your phone? And he goes, why? And I thought she was going to maybe possibly like airdrop him some photos or something. But she goes, now that you have your phone, lay back. And he goes, what do you want me to do now? And she goes, go on it so I could be on my phone. I've never heard that language expressed before. Like, you get your phone and go on it because I want to have phone
pacifier.
Yeah.
Somehow the guys are still going out after this party, even though they're like blackout. The girls get McDonald's, which I was like, ooh, that's gotta hit so nice.
They were so happy. They go, Jesse, you are a hero. Jesse was the one who brought those McDonald's bags up to them. They also thought that Jesse wasn't going to go out. He could barely finish his conversation with Lexi before like blacking out, and then he put on an outfit and he's ready to go out with everyone as well.
No wonder what happens later happens, because he was just like on another planet.
Yeah.
Emerald, yet again, there's got to just be a new policy, or it's him, I don't know, but he, yet again, no visual on who he brings home, but it's multiple people. It's 2 girls. And even Craig went out, by the way, which I was like, I never would have guessed that he was going to go out.
Yeah, I know. I think he went out only for half an hour, though, because he comes back at some point. He goes, chicken. He goes, chicken. I couldn't do it. So I don't know. Maybe he didn't like it. But yeah, I was surprised he went out as well.
Yeah. So Emerald's in his room with the cameras covered with 2 girls. Everyone else is in the kitchen, like eating leftover McDonald's. And then Jesse is like, they're like, dude, he has 2 girls in there. And Jesse's like, I need to go check this out. And he just walks right into the room, and they show him coming out 37 minutes later.
Yes. And Emerald put a towel or a washcloth over the camera, but unfortunately there's a left and a right of the towel that you can still kind of peek. So at some point, the Summer House producers that are in that movie room, they started turning the camera.
They were like, It was like moving back. They were trying to like shake the towel off.
They see Emerald, he goes, I'm naked. He goes, you're not naked enough. I'm naked. And then at some point, once Jesse's in there, I don't know what the hell this was. I don't even want to say what I thought it was, but they pull to the left, and then something is in someone's hand, and it goes forward to the trash can. Did you see that?
Oh.
They kind of feel, I don't even want to say what I think it is, because I might be so wrong, but they're just trying to...
Bag.
They're trying to give us everything that we can to find out what the hell happened in this room when Jesse went in there. And then Jesse does, he goes, so good. They have audio of him. And then he walks out and he goes, like damage control, funny drunken damage control. He goes, anyways, it was so good to see you guys. So it would look like, he doesn't know that washcloth, he doesn't know what the status of that thing was, if there was no way to block him out. I mean, he knows he's on mic, but he tries to pretend like that was a very, very innocent, like he shook both of the threesome person's hands and then Emerald's hands, and then maybe he like stood in the corner for 34 more minutes, and then he walked out.
I cannot imagine on any planet having the confidence to walk into that room uninvited.
That's what Amanda says.
Insane.
She tries to get into the mind of it. I
The
couldn't
mind of a
either.
man.
In the mind of a man.
So yeah, he tells us in the morning that he was sitting like opposite where he was at the foot of the bed and his feet were in their face. And he's telling West, and West is like, I was in the kitchen during a foursome. And the producer says to, because he's saying that somehow the girl ended up, I think Emerald was like, suck his toes, and the girl does. And the producer goes, why did you take your socks off in the first place? And he was like, I was barefoot. And they're like, no, when you entered the room, you were wearing socks.
But what does that mean?
Like, did he want to tempt her? Like, he was like, look at these little piggies.
Yeah, but the producer treated it like it was such a bombshell, and they included it in the edit. And I was like, what is that? How does that add
that's like
to the more
if
salacious detail?
Like, it's like almost like he got undressed.
Yeah. Oh, right. But he could have just taken his socks off. I mean, we got to start talking about what the hell is actually going on here. So Jesse says, he tells the producer at some point, he goes, I walked in, I said, I'm not going to have sex with you both, but they're both going like, come here, let us have sex with you. Emerald's like, get in here. I want to have sex with you and these two women. And Jesse said, I got on one side of the bed, face down, he says, like his, and then they're on, he goes, you guys stay on your side of the bed. And then Emerald goes, suck his toes. And he goes, okay, you can suck my toes. So that's what he says. That's the best version that he wants to say to the world of what happened.
In the audio, he goes, and I'm hard.
Yeah. And then when he says, and I'm hard, I felt a little bit of irony in that, in the way he said that. It kind of sounds like a funny line a little bit, like, and I'm hard. Yeah. You could totally imagine that someone, so this is giving Jesse the benefit of the doubt. I'm just going to say, if we're in this world, if you got your toes sucked, you could mockingly or sillily say, and I'm hard. Or you could imagine maybe he did think, he was getting sexually gratified by his toes being sucked.
Yeah, but if there was like full on like moaning and groaning and shit like for 37 minutes, wouldn't they just show us?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so I want to say, I think that there's going to be an entire world when people watch this. You and I we're in a vacuum here completely. But when I watched with Megan, she goes, oh, he's completely lying. He probably got a blowjob or he did stuff. I mean, he was in there for 37 minutes. And the fact that he does multiple times damage control by saying exactly what happens kind of sounds guilty if you imagine it that way, because he keeps bringing up the conversation as if he's trying to get ahead of it for Lexi by telling the version that he wants to get out to everyone. But when I watched it, for me, knowing Bravo and knowing what they have and how much evidence they would use, and the socks thing not being some huge revelation, like, okay, he took his socks off so they could suck his toes, whatever. Yeah. I'm at the point where I don't think he engaged in the foursome with Emerald and those two people. What do you think? I mean, you and I are only this. We have nothing else to go off of.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I totally understand being like, he's absolutely full of shit because what did he do in there for that long? It also seems like this is going to turn into an issue later. So maybe more comes out, and that's why they didn't share it with us, because they're sort of teasing it out. Like, and I'm hard was a little bit of a like bone they threw us, so to speak, because it looks like Lexi gets mad. Although later, the only quote we have from Lexi is that she's mad that he let a girl suck his toes. So we'll see if there's more, but it looks like there's more in the preview of a lot of people getting mad at him.
Yeah, and I think Emerald might be the one who immediately dispels this once he gets his 2 cents in there, unless he's lying for Jesse. But Jesse was very drunk, and so his inhibition is down, and also he's got 3 naked people. I mean, Emerald, this guy that he really loves, sitting right there, wanting him to have sex with him. But I just don't know. Like you said, they have a lot of evidence to use potentially. So I have to say now I give him the benefit of the doubt that it just went to toes. But really, I mean, Emerald blocking this camera ended up being sort of a godsend for the producers, because then they got this like full mystery that they get to use by tilting the camera back and forth and us not knowing what exactly happened in the room, you know?
Yeah, they should send a drone in with a little claw and take the towel off.
I think so too. I think they should be like, Kyle, open that door for 1 second, just enough to allow a little drone to come in to take that towel off.
Yeah. But yeah, the next day, everyone's like hungover as hell. West is like, I could throw up if I wanted to. Jesse tells Amanda and Gabby that he just barged in, and he's like, but I didn't do anything. He said, Lexi is better than foursomes. I'm telling myself that. And they're like, that's so romantic. I will share that with her. And he said, I didn't even consider it, which seemed a little doth protest too much. And
I thought so too.
Yeah. And the episode ends on a zoom in of his tootsies.
Yep. And then Emerald coming down the stairs to probably either confirm or deny Jesse's stories.
He's
because
total bro code.
I know, but if they haven't talked about it and they ask, they don't know like enough to grill Emerald with this sensitive information, but it's possible that Emerald will have a different story, and then the audience will know what Emerald says versus what Jesse says. But I sort of think that it is probably what Jesse said, and Emerald is coming down and he's going to confirm it. But the producers are definitely having their way with the mystery of, did Jesse participate in this foursome? You know, they're definitely making us.
I'm open to both paths.
Me too.
Let the Lord take me either way.
I agree completely. And then
if you're on wherever you are watching or listening to this, find a way to tell us what you think.
Yeah, did Jesse participate in a foursome with Emerald and two girls, or did he just sit on the opposite side of the bed, take off his socks?
Just the toe.
Hashtag just the toe, or hashtag full sex foursome.
Yes, those are locked in.
Okay.
Okay, and then you texted me the second you finished this saying, holy shit, the mid-season trailer is straight fire.
Yeah.
And I co-signed. It looks awesome.
Oh, it looks so awesome. It is like a gift from the Summer House gods. It is so good. Like, I mean, just Schwartz being there just it doesn't matter, but it just makes everything just additionally amazing that he's just, for some reason, also in Summer House. But everything else that is going on is so fun. Kyle and Amanda have, it looks like they're having another rough time talking about if they're going to have kids or not. Kyle says to Schwartz, I never in a million years thought I would be this age and not have children. So that's first off.
Yeah. Amanda's like, should I even have kids? I don't think I'm built to take care of someone else, which I think that's interesting. I've seen some commentary online saying that like she's deluded herself into saying that because of Kyle, which I'm like, I could see it one way where it's like the Ariana thing where she's like, I don't want a family, I don't want to get married, because she doesn't feel secure with her partner. So if she was with someone else, she would totally be all, steam ahead. But at the same time, her number one thing right now is her like mental health journey, and she's only just gotten a hold on that. So I understand not wanting to throw a wrench into it. So more to come on that.
Yeah.
They play sports. Lexi's mad at Jesse. Paige and Sierra fully sob talking about her potential breakup, which I am dying to see.
I can't wait. Yeah. Also, Lexi gets to learn in real time that Jesse got his toe sucked at that dodgeball game or whatever the hell that is.
Yeah. Lindsay lets it rip about Carl and Lil. There's like Sierra throws shade at Emerald. Like Gabby's mad at Jesse. Lexi's mad at Jesse. Like, we get the preview for the presumably finale post-breakup conversation with the girls. I'm just like, every part of it looked exciting.
Oh yeah, it looks awesome. Yeah, it looks so good. And then the quote we get from Paige in that post-breakup conversation, Craig said, I wish you didn't do this, break up with me before you saw the ring. Yeah. Which is like, whoa, what? He thought that the ring was going to like blow her mind and that she wouldn't have broken up with him. And then she goes, in my head, I said, to myself, this is why we're breaking up, because I don't know if you're lying or not. Like, do you even have a ring? Which is a wild thing to say and for her to think about Craig at that point. So
Can't wait. I mean, like comparing this to Southern Charm and like what the breakup conversation will be compared to Southern Charm, I'm like, if I were an executive and I had them side by side, I'd be like, we know who gets the gold star.
absolutely. Oh my God. Everything about Summer House is handled better than Southern Charm, and definitely how that they're showcasing this breakup. I mean, Southern Charm was horrendous. That final scene. Okay, great. So this was a wonderful episode of Summer House. It doesn't get much more fun than that. Just action packed, a party the entire time. It actually felt like the cast was partying. They were so drunk, they were hungover the next morning, and then we get this like possible scandal in the middle of it. So that was so great. And then if we're gonna touch on Beverly Hills, I thought that this finale, like I said, was pretty fun. I mean, it doesn't compare to what we just talked about at Summer House, but there was a little bit of energy here. It picks up right where we left off, with Sutton very upset on the yacht that Erica claimed that she doesn't support women at their worst, that she piles on women. She's sulking. Erica jumps into the ocean, says she only swims in the Caribbean. Garcelle and Beauvais are saying how Sutton hates everyone here. Kyle then jumps in the ocean and does a callback, which I didn't remember this. I didn't remember it being iconic enough to be a pull clip, but she goes, Dorit, if you go swimming, I'm not going to give you a Birkin. And it was when PK was like, I'll give you a Birkin if you jump in, which I don't even know where the hell they were, when that was. I was like, okay. Kyle was just giving, editors a little something to work with there because they needed 15 seconds to add to the runtime.
Yeah. Then the baseline, or the through line to the end, is that like Jennifer is saying that she felt like Dorit and Erica prepped the Sutton attack, and that sort of ends up bubbling up that they think, I'm like, she said that Erica was so well spoken in her argument that it felt prepared or whatever. And I was like, I gotta say, like, Erica just rolls like that. Like, she just kind of, that's how she talks. Yes, right, exactly. Jennifer Tilly doesn't know Erica enough to know that she had all of her bases covered and she can articulate herself well. It also didn't seem coordinated at all, because Dorit was just reiterating what she had said before. And a direct question was asked to Dorit if she thinks Sutton supports women or whatever, and Dorit obviously has firsthand examples of that. She's been fighting with Dorit the entire season. So I have to say, the only people that behave like that in this group are Sutton and Garcelle.
Right, because they are always aligned, and they talk about specifically what they are going to bring up at certain points so that they can back each other up.
Yeah, which ruined the show.
I think so too. It's going to be very interesting. Like you said, what is Sutton going to do without just a diehard loyalist next to them? We also get this fun. I really liked this Sutton retrospective. It was almost like a career highlights for Sutton. They're kind of talking about Sutton. Sutton is very upset. She's like, they have always wanted to break me. They've been trying to break me for years. Yeah.
They did the montages. They did one of everyone being mad at her that supports her argument that they are trying to break her down, but then they do like a counter montage of her being difficult and annoying to everyone else.
Totally. It was, Name was in there. You already lost 2 sisters. Do you want to lose another one? I gotta say, Sutton's, her trying to break Sutton, it was like, you're a bitch, don't be a bitch, be quiet, Miss Small Town. I was like, you've been on the show for 5 years. It didn't seem, that compilation wasn't so damning to me.
No, and it was all in response to something that she had done to someone else. It wasn't like out of nowhere.
Yeah, why didn't they include the Magic Mike thing? Like, I've had enough of this when she raced out of Magic Mike. I would have put that on that difficult Sutton retrospective.
Yeah. She's so like, woe is me in this. She's like, no one ever apologizes to me. It's just too much. She's like, I don't want to go to dinner. It's like, all right, anyways. And then Tilly is trying to express to the group, like, she's trying to be the Sutton whisperer, but she'll only go so far. She's like, this really isn't my battle, but I'm going to tell you that she's upset right now. And she's like, she wants, both her and Garcelle are obsessed with this narrative that Sutton wants to be Kyle's friend so bad.
Yeah.
Which I kind of agree with Kyle that I'm like, that's not really your problem that she's like obsessed with you for some reason.
No, not at all. And Garcelle is the one who keeps bringing it up. She goes, she wants absolute loyalty or blind loyalty from Kyle because she loves her so much. And I haven't heard Sutton express that. Like, whether or not she feels like that, I don't think she would say to anyone, I demand absolute loyalty from Kyle, nor does Kyle owe it to Sutton. So
I think Garcelle's just pissed that she feels like Kyle gets away with behavior that she doesn't, or like she feels that she has to fully support Sutton because they're this like twosome, and she's like, Kyle gets to be like completely indifferent about Sutton, and Sutton doesn't even get mad at her about it.
Garcelle is so upset and embarrassed that she brought up the Morgan Wade bomb at that table, and that Sutton didn't say, yeah, I'm also interested in Morgan Wade, like, because Garcelle was just completely left hanging with that thing. And now
meanwhile, it's like, fucking Kyle's in Paris with Morgan Wade right now.
Is she?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, no way.
Yes, they're like on a European vacation. They went to that waffle place in Amsterdam that her and Lisa Vanderpump went to after the Don't Talk About the Husband night.
Oh, right. Oh my God, I saw that and I didn't even think about what that means. And wow, I mean, Garcelle's kind of vindicated there, I guess, you know, like, why can't we talk about this more? Right. It's kind of fun, you know, this little, what is this thing that they go to? Like a little festival, right? And shopping experience that they are all kind of heading towards, right?
Yeah, it's like a market. Jennifer buys Sutton a bracelet to make her feel better. She's like, just so you know, we all talked about you. Everyone got a little bit riled up. Kyle comes over and is like, I've been hearing that you're upset. And she's like, brings up what Erica had said on the boat about that she like attacks everyone when they're at their lowest or whatever. And Sutton goes, do you think that's true? Do you think that's true? Do you think that's true? And then we get another montage, because actually it wasn't much of a montage. It was like one clip or something. But Kyle was like, why does she always do this? Like repeating word after word after word. And Kyle is like, I have experienced what she was talking about, but I didn't double down because I'm your friend. Like, she was like, me not saying anything was actually me supporting you, because I could have been like, it's true.
Right. You wouldn't have wanted Kyle to pipe in right then.
Yes. Kathy is like on another planet in this episode. She's like very hot. She needs ice. She, to use her words, tinkled in her shorts. She's like falling apart at the seams.
She goes, I have a little secret to share with you all. I tinkled in my shorts. Bose, I think the funniest thing in my life to this point is Bose reacting to Kathy because she doesn't know who the hell she is. In her confessional, she goes, God damn it, Kathy, sit your ass down. Oh my God. Because she's now seen all these different iterations of Kathy where she's pulling her hair out. And then now she's talking about how she tinkled in her shorts. Like, she is just stunned beyond
she's
belief.
Like, these bitches are disgusting.
Yeah. Kathy goes, she goes at one point, she goes, they're soaking in the sink.
She's like just roaming around. At one point, I think was it this time? Before she tinkles in her shorts, the outfit that she's wearing, she's just wearing a t-shirt and shorts when everyone else is like glammed out. She's just like on another level.
Totally.
Also, Sutton, when she's by herself trying to act like not bothered, even though she's like crying, she's like, I wish I was just like these other Barbies that could just pretend nothing was going on. And she goes, pretend that I don't have an IQ of 140. And she was also talking about like Erica as one of them. And I was like, not to keep like harping on that, I think that Erica is very intelligent. But I'm like, if I had to like put a debate head to head, I would bet on Erica 100 times out of 10 over fucking Sutton. Like, she, like, her arguments suck. Like, she's like a smart woman, but like Erica is like razor sharp.
Oh yeah, no. If we're debating IQs or whatever, like, I don't know why she would ever put Erica down. I mean, I think Erica is just as smart or smarter than Sutton.
I think it's giving like Sutton with like the money thing where she's like, I'm richer than you. She's trying to say she's smarter than Erica. She's like, she's getting that sort of like big for her britches thing, where I think she thinks she's like outclassing Housewives or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you are in the muck with everybody else. Like, please.
Yeah. You really do not get a special designation on Beverly Hills at all. Also, Sutton's energy, like, she is completely withdrawn and fed up. She's very fragile at this point. Like, she doesn't want anybody to talk to her at all. So that kind of leads her into that dinner. She didn't even want to come. So, yeah, it goes into the dinner, and they're actually trying to be normal. Sutton is sitting there, and she knows that she's miserable, but they're kind of trying to ignore her because this is a birthday dinner, and they go back to the well of like doing impressions. They go, they go, Jennifer Tilly, can you do any impressions, right? And then Kyle immediately goes, I can do a Jennifer Tilly impression, and she does a spot on, perfect Tilly. I mean, off the cuff like that.
She's very talented in that regard, I have to say.
Kyle doing impressions might be top 5 skills of hers. It is so amazing. And then we get so downgraded by everybody else doing their impressions because they all think they can do it just like Kyle. Garcelle does, one of the worst impressions of Erica you've ever.
That's the moment she got fired.
She goes, I'll do an Erica. Tom car crash. It snows in Pasadena. I'm going to come for you, bitch. It's just like, I guess monotone was the thing that she was trying to do.
It's like, I thought you were the actress of the group. Damn.
But it was not good at all. I never thought that Tom's car crash, it snows in Pasadena thing was that iconic, I have to say. I really, I don't know. It didn't move me at all. Maybe I was
Girardi's biggest defender.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so in the tank I'm a Girardi
Free
head.
Tom.
Don't get me started. Wait till we get to the end of this thing. And then Erica and Dorit, unfortunately, is badly timed. I don't think they had ill intentions. I think they were trying to move on and pretend it didn't happen. But they do kind of a cartoonish Southern accent, and then Sutton just like loses it. She's like, what's that called when your skin is rubbed off and you're so sensitive? Like, she has that reaction to where she cannot stop herself, and she immediately launches into her cartoonish Southern accent to get back at them. And it's another almost like name moment where she's like, nobody talks. She goes, nobody talks like that. Nobody talks like that. And they're all just basically ignoring Sutton over there.
Everyone's like, what the fuck? It was awful.
It was awful.
Then they get birthday cakes with their faces on them, and then
really quick, I want to say there's so many just fun, offhanded, or like very stray moments that happen that make this kind of an iconic episode. There's a moment where like Sutton is getting offered oil, and they go, "This is the sexiest oil we have," and Sutton goes, "I don't want any oil on me." And then there was the cakes,
like no fun at all.
And then there was the cakes with their faces on them. Another franchise that wasn't having a great episode. We'd probably spend 5 minutes looking at these cakes with their faces on them, and they'd make a big deal or whatever, but that was just for 1 second. I was like, oh, these cakes are really funny, like it has their faces on them. But this episode was just so packed with stuff that we get like fun, great moments like that, and they don't even like focus on them for a second. So that was kind of fun.
Can we skip the chocolate date for the sake of time?
Absolute. I mean, they made excellent chocolate that they're going to brew into a chocolate drink that they both get to have. But yeah, it's kind of Sutton is just telling Bose how she feels.
Yeah, she said there's a double standard against her about that she talks shit about Erica or whatever, and she also says that that she had a come to Jesus moment where she realized that Kyle and Dorit are having such a hard time in their lives right now, and it must be hard for them to see how great her life is. And Bose was like, like she was like, I don't think that's what they want to hear.
Not the best takeaway. And then really quickly, I did like Tilly, getting a little peek into Tilly. They're and beach chairs. They're kind of like, they say that they are probably Sutton's biggest defenders. I mean, Kyle includes herself in that, which is wild, given how Sutton has treated Kyle in the past. But they talk, Garcelle goes, what about the divorce? Come on, Kyle, I want a little piece of what's going on with you. And Kyle's like, I'm not at that place yet. And Tilly goes, hey, just so you know, I thought I was going to have the perfect divorce to Sam Simon. We had $700,000 in the bank. He was going to give me $350,000. Her friend said, you need a divorce lawyer. And Kyle goes, did you get more than $350,000? She goes, I got a piece of the fucking Simpsons.
Mic drop. She's like, you think I'm buying my diamonds with Chucky money?
I mean, really, there's like no better evidence in the world that if Kyle wasn't swayed, I mean, that has to completely shift your opinion. Like, you
I was
not
like shocked that Kyle didn't take one thought further, I'm like, we know that she's filthy rich. What do you think? She got $350,000 out of her divorce. Like, the whole point of why she's so rich is because of The Simpsons.
Yeah, no, totally. And I would, you could argue that maybe Mauricio and Kyle's finances are even more convoluted than Tilly's and Sam Simon's were. So just imagine what Kyle needs to get a piece of. I know she's financially secure, but they're all trying to really tell Kyle this. It's almost like the Teresa and Louis shit, where it's just like, come on, like, just be responsible. You have no clue what the fuck when Mauricio goes on a bender of marrying 4 people back to back because he's having the midlife crisis of the century. You have no fucking clue what he's going to do and all those deals and shit that he's going to do with a bunch of different people. You cannot trust him.
And there's
at the point
properties. They own like 5 properties, so that's so complicated.
Jennifer Tilly, I would just a spotlight before because we're moving forward, but Tilly is a great addition. I love these Hollywood stories, like I said last week, and I love the divorce. And she's sensible. I don't think she's just absolutely blindly loyal to Sutton. I think that they are treating her shitty because they know that she's Sutton's ally. But I think Tilly can make some inroads here. She's very. I just want to say, spotlight on Tilly. She's fun.
I kind of want her and Kyle to get closer because they have that Hollywood history. Like, I want them to forge a friendship also.
Oh, the stories they could tell.
Yeah, seriously. Because, I mean, and they both have sisters. They're sister actors.
All right, I can breeze through this. They are getting dressed for carnival, right?
Yes.
Total major carnival, and they got delivered feathers and outfits, and they're going to dress up like this for one final dinner.
Yeah, they really are scantily clad. Some more than others. Kathy still wore like a caftan, but everyone else is like in these like basically like thong, like little pasty things. Erica feels extremely comfortable. She's like, this is my dream. I love the showgirl look. Yeah. Like, she's really in her element here.
Sutton goes, look at me, I'm wearing a thong.
Yes. Did you notice when they imply that Garcelle drops a condom, I rewound it like 40 times and I couldn't tell where it came from.
I don't know either. So
it fell from the sky.
So the condom was not there on the ground when they first started walking out.
No, it drops, but it was like either from like Kathy or it wasn't a condom. I don't know.
I think a camera person was filming their entrance, and then they had to walk back really quickly, and then I think a condom fell out of their pocket.
But you can see it fall from midair, and I was like, I tried so hard to see where it was from because I was like, what the fuck? Who's bringing a condom out tonight? It could have been Jennifer, I guess, but anyways, but so they all go to dinner. There's comedy in the sense that they all have to sit at a dinner table wearing feather wings.
Yeah, and they show us it from far away, and they're completely shrouded in feathers because they're taking over the entire space.
Yes. And then Erica brings up right away, she's like, I've heard that people are saying that me and Dorit planned that conversation on the boat. I just want to say unequivocally that is not what happened. She goes, because of our history and that I want to move on. And Kathy starts to chime in and she goes, I'm speaking respectfully. I must finish. And Kathy's like, okay. And she goes, it was not a coordinated attack. Thank you for listening. And they're all like, okay.
They all just completely agree. Garcelle goes, hey, I believe you. And Jennifer Tilly, nobody speaks up about who even said it was a coordinated attack. Like, Erica just completely defended herself, and everybody believes her. So she got that shit out of the way. Yeah.
Then they dance in the rain. It's pretty much just like fun montage of them dancing in the feathers, and it does the post-season updates, which there was nothing juicy in there. It was just like Garcelle like loves her grandson and like shit like that.
Yeah. Do you think so? 1 month later, they pick up, and of course I love seeing the Erica and Tom thing, but I was kind of like, did you guys just pick up cameras to like give this a little more oomph or something to like end the season on a high note? I wasn't sure if this was pick up cameras worthy, really, right? For a month later after the end credits.
Yeah, and for some reason they picked up cameras just to show that Sutton had a dead rat in her yard.
Yeah, I guess they really wanted to show off that something is going on, where something is eating rats around Sutton's house. But Erica,
maybe they feel like the Tom trial of it all was such a thing for so long that they wanted to capture its ending because it was such a part of her story for years that they're like, if we don't do it now, we're gonna have to wait an entire season. So we kind of want to like tell everyone how it ended.
That makes sense. Kyle comes over to talk to Erica about it because the ruling just happened, and Erica is in a horrible place. She said, I've been sleeping. I feel like shit. No matter what you feel about this, I knew this man, and this is a terrible ending. This ending is not okay for this person. They gave him 80 years for 4 counts of wire fraud. She goes, that dude ain't got 80 days in him, which is awful.
He was defended by public defenders, like such a fall from grace. He was like one of the most powerful attorneys in LA.
Is that, I don't know, that's one of those things, is it irony?
Yeah.
The irony of that you were one of the most high-profile, powerful attorneys in the world, and then you have to be defended by public defenders in a court of law.
Brutal. And she's like, no one lived in that house but the two of us. Like, they don't know what our relationship was, and they show all of the OG photos of them together from like
they looked
20 years ago or whatever.
They looked so cute. They both have rosy cheeks, and they're smiling ear to ear. Oh, it made me so sad. I'll tell you, I had to Google. I go, what is Tom Girardi guilty of? Because before I go out on a limb and just completely defend him, and it looks, there's damning evidence. There's damning evidence that if he was of sound mind, he was embezzling funds from his clients.
Wire fraud is basically like the catch-all, right? Like that's always what people get charged with, but it just means that you were like lying about what the money was for or whatever.
Yeah, and so you could argue also that even if he was declared of sound mind, and I honestly was like, if he even if he was in the throes of dementia or whatever, it's like, how do you? You're committing wire fraud, complicated embezzling, and you're calling people on the phone to talk about where their money is. So that defense all of a sudden kind of dissipated for me. So I no longer defend it. But I agree exactly where Erica is coming from, where as a person who knew this man for 20 years and knowing that he's 85 or 80, however old he is, it's just such a sad, disgraceful end, no matter where you fall. I mean, I know people want him to like burn in hell for all eternity, but I understand where Erica is coming from.
Yeah, it's just every true crime thing ever you watch, if someone's old, they're like, he's demented and sick and doesn't know what the hell is going on. Like that's you got to try that one,
So you still, oh man, so I hate to ask again. So you do think Tom is just sharp as a what do you say, a needle? Sharp as a knife?
I don't doubt that like towards the end he started like falling apart, and like he is very old, like that could happen anyways, but like this crime has been happening for a really long time, so he knew what he was doing. And then I'm sure through the stress of all of this, and like then once you're in jail, I assume that when you're old you just like fall apart completely. Like I think your health declines, your mental health declines. Like if you even had like a touch of the dementia before, then once all this happened, you just start to like fall apart completely. So I don't doubt that he's in really bad shape now, but he knew what he was doing. He set up all of that shit. Like that's, like you said, is like an enterprise.
Yeah, I it's almost like what do you wish on the on the worst person? Like I'm just conflicted of like does like. Yeah, like should he just like rot in jail, and like Erica doesn't talk to him anymore and he just has no one? Like I don't know. It's like such a harsh punishment, but that was what was legally decreed, and he did do some horrible things. So sad. And then Erica goes, but she goes, enough of this. That sucks, but I just want to have fun again. Yeah, please.
I know. I'm like, I did like that their bond there. I know, like,
oh yeah.
Kyle was supportive of her almost completely the whole time, stood by her side. And so now they, both have that. And I enjoyed that support, and that she's like, this is our chance to forge new versions of ourselves. And I'm like, yeah, I would love to watch them have fun in the future. And it ends on her saying that she reprised her role of Roxy, which then I Googled it because I was like, oh, is she going to perform while I'm there? And it's already someone else it's that model Ashley Graham. So
Oh.
they'll really be giving that role to anybody.
Okay, well, I didn't know it was Ashley Graham. Holy shit. Yeah, you can tell that Erica is a great friend. You can tell that people actually love having Erica in their lives, and there's nothing fake about her. She seems very authentic. I would say that Erica was probably MVP of the season for me, of a shitty season. I'd say her and Kyle both really fueled this thing. Bose. Also an amazing addition. On a bad season, Bose shined like a lighthouse in a dark storm. And then I got to say what I said last week, that Sutton and Garcelle were a true detriment to this season in a way. I was also surprised that they didn't want to wrap up what happened with Dorit and Kyle at the end of it, for really making us spin our wheels about that for 13 episodes. They didn't even give one update. Like, are they doing good? Like, who knows?
Yeah. I think Bose will be great at the reunion.
Oh, yeah.
I just love that it's her first season and she feels so embodied. Like, she's like, I belong here. I'm comfortable here. I'm going to feel as comfortable as people that have been here 10 years. She just stepped right in, which is rare.
She's like a 10 out of 10. A first season cast member, like, to be doing what she's doing in confessionals, like making me laugh out loud. They're so funny, and she's very good in the group already. She kind of already understands the dynamics. She made a few missteps that we talked about where she was trying to get in on the Kyle shit, but overall, perfect season for Bose. Like, one of the best new cast members ever cast. Jennifer Tilly as well. So dud season overall, but there's a lot of fire still there in Beverly Hills. We'll have a good season next season.
I was underwhelmed by the reunion trailer, but then I've seen other clips, like in commercials, that had more to them. So I don't know why the initial reunion trailer sucked so bad. Like, there was nothing to bite onto. But
they're going to do their best to try to make this, as dynamic as possible for a lackluster season. But I don't believe that anything that could come up at the reunion is going to salvage this thing.
Kyle does say that she has texted PK recently.
That made me mad. I was like, oh my God, I cannot talk about this again, because they go to Dorit's face and she goes, and it's like, oh my God, no more, please.
Like, he sent me something from Grape Juice Boys or whatever that account is.
Oh my God, is that the memes that he's been sending? What are Grape Juice Boys? I can't. We got to end at 11:45 a.m. so I can't ask what Grape Juice Boys are, but I'll look it up on my own time. Okay, where you and I did we recap the shit out of those two shows, as is the Turtle Time way?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, well, I'm not going to say what I always say. Just review us, please. Give us a good review. Go on Patreon if you like us, $5. It's called Turtle Time. And then anything else you want to say before we say goodbye?
No, thanks for joining us. Let us know if it's hashtag just the toe or hashtag full on
Full sex foursome. Full sex foursome. Imagine if we found that out. If Jesse and Emerald had made love and there's two women between them and they were having sex with both of them. You were right. At some point they would be like, hey, we're getting a drone in there to take off that washcloth. Like, we got to see what's going on in there. Anyway, okay. All right. Goodbye, Amy. Goodbye, little turtle cuties. Goodbye, Villa Rosa VIPs. We'll see you very soon. Bye.
Bye.